Hello, my peeps. Excuse me, bad time for a frog in my throat. Hello, everybody. Tracy here, uh, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and your friendly neighborhood paper pusher. Oh, darn it. I'm rushing today and I'm forgetting things. I got it before it started to echo in my head. There's enough things echoing in my head right now. Oh, busy day today. I've just given a minute or so for my comments and everything to catch up to me. I had a fabulous weekend. I think if you got my newsletter, I already, you know, delved into some of this. But when I first started as a demonstrator 12, 13 years ago now, the uh, the original group of people that sort of came and supported me and came to classes and that I started doing classes for because I love to do it they wanted to do it. And well, that's my original group. That's my OG. And we had our extravaganza this weekend, a little all day get together, and oh, it was so good. It was just so nice to visit. And yes, we did crafts, and it's a very busy day. There's like three different sort of crafting styles that go on, and I make it so that all three have something to do. And it was so much fun, and just helping and busy and going, and oh yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. And then on Sunday, I had signed up to do a beading class where a good friend of mine was the facilitator of that and doing her teachings, and it was such a good day. It was well, I knew she would do an awesome job, but it was just perfect. It was learn some things, learn how to do this, and then we got to just sit there and work on our beading, and we had some assistance because Lord knows I needed it in a few instances. And it was so relaxing to just sit there, and oh, it was so good. I did a bit more when I got home after at last or on Sunday night. I wasn't able to do any last night because I had a bunch of stuff to do. But I'm itching to get back at it. I think that will be how I watch what I hope is good news on TV tonight. Um, I think I will be able to finish. I've got 3/4 of the poppy itself done, and then I just have to figure out the edging. But yeah, it was just such a good weekend. I've been having such a good weekend. Got the all the trees trimmed. I prune the same way as my dad. I just take a chainsaw and there I go. And I just had this little tiny chainsaw. I'll post a picture tomorrow because it cracks me up because I'm used to a much larger chainsaw, but I have this little one, and yeah, way thinner in the backyard than it was. Trailers loaded up, trying to get all this stuff done before snow. We had a little bit of snow this morning. Excuse me. Can't clear my throat. We had a bit of snow this morning. I think it happened like wee hours of the morning until the stupid daylight savings time. Um, I keep waking up at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning. Um, it wasn't snowing when I got up this morning. There was just a little skiff, and most of it had melted by mid afternoon. There's like probably little patches in the shade and stuff, but yeah, it's coming. I mean, it's November now. It's coming. So trying to get all that stuff ready. So yeah, just been busy girl. Um, and my office is just a disaster right now because I've had like 4 events in 3 weeks, I think it was. And so I keep like dropping this and grabbing the next bunch and then drop some and then grab the next bunch, and I've misplaced and I don't want to print them again because they're all coming up fairly quickly, and this is pretty much the last call, but I've lost all my posters for my classes, so I want to be able to show. This is bugging that it's not lined up. I want to be able to show like the poster for the classes. I've just brought the cards in and I can't figure out what I did with them. This is how it's been going lately. So I'm trying to like, oh, there we go. I'm trying to help myself at the same time. Nope, that's the wrong bin. Okay. Well, you'll just have to take my word on it. Cute cards. Yeah, and then I'm gonna show you a couple things. I got people seem to like my little Rudolph tree. I should have put something in it. Do I have any treats on my desk? I will tell you, we have a little candy store here in Warrenville that you can get candy that you can't buy anywhere else. And these little I've had that for years. You've been able to find ouzo and cinnamon of this like same brand, these tiny little candies. This one is espresso, and good Lord, is it a good candy? I'm not even a coffee drinker. It is a good candy, but maybe that wasn't the right one to put in there because it's the exact same color as the candy. They also have, it's funny because I have, somebody asked me about this. I have stuff all over. I don't need any of it. It's for my go in the treat holders. It is not for me. I did buy the candies for me partially and the treat holders. But yeah, I've stopped eating them now. So there we go. Now at least it's a different color, so you can kind of see. But yeah, it's a nice little candy holder or treat holder of whatever you want to put in it. And then I got my little reindeer going. So I'm going to just quickly show you how I made that. Plus, then while I was making that, I was trying to make like a card more akin to why I bought the set to begin with. So we'll get to those. I don't know that we'll go the full time if I can speed along because curiosity is killing me right now. Okay. Yep. I have no idea what I did. Okay. How about we do it? I'm going to say now, where did I move my calendar? All right. So here's the month of November. This is my little holder on my desk. That's some business stuff in there. It usually, although I was using them, so it can hold dimensionals, right? Which I lose on my desk all the time because I don't put them in here, but I'm going to put it this way so it doesn't fall out. Okay, so 13th, this is next Wednesday. So far I've only got one person registered, so come on, people. And that is for Women's Wellness Wednesday, although it is not limited to women. We're making the 3 cards. I've posted all the posters before, and I can repost them again tonight with, they were in the newsletter too, so. But that's on the 13th. We're having a kit together. I missed a date. I gotta go back one. On the 23rd. And that's where I've just got a bunch of different Christmas kits. So you can make a variety of Christmas cards. I've also got a bunch of brand new Christmas kits. So if you want to make all of one kind, there's that option too. That's on the 23rd at Nourish. Such good smoothies, and there's espresso now, and snacks and baking and soup and all sorts of good things that you can get in the morning while we're doing that. And then going back a week, because I went past it, I was thinking I was one down. On the 17th, which is Sunday, afternoon, we are doing the reindeer fun class, which is 3 cards and 2 of the cute little treat books, which, because I didn't want to switch them, they ended up, oh, nope, not the right one. For goodness sakes, I just cannot win with where I think anything is right now. I've just been too busy. Anyways, these are the little books. This is not the reindeer one, obviously. This is the fall one I made, but these are the little treat books. We're making 2 of those, only reindeer themed. That was my fancy way of closing it so that this didn't interrupt my pretty front. One of them I have tucked under what's on the front, and this one I just put the magnet on the inside so that it tucks in and still closes, but you don't see it. Anyways, there's lots of fun there. Yeah, maybe next Tuesday I'll be more organized. We'll see. I'm in clean and purge mode, so my focus has not been on the business, although I do have a bunch of things I have to catch up on. It has more been on cleaning around me and getting ready for winter. So also, okay, so that's classes. So today was some new online exclusives. If you read my letter, if you read my newsletter, I mentioned about having, like in one of my upcoming lives, I'm going to discuss the new product release stuff because they're adding some things and they're changing the way they're doing. They're not changing, they're standardizing, which is very nice. The way they're doing the retirement of items. So some stuff's coming out, but there's always like new stuff coming and new stuff going, or old stuff going. And so this is one of the new ones that's coming out today. And these are, so this is, I do it so I can fit it all into one page here. So it says the 5th, but I'm going to try to slide it up a little bit. So there's 20, it shows 20 items. There is technically more than 20 because this is a bundle, right? So you can buy just the stamp set or just the dies. This is a hybrid folder die, so those are so awesome. So you can buy that separately or buy it as a bundle, but I just put it once. I think buying the bundle is the way to go. You get a 10% off, plus then you have all the parts and pieces, because it's frustrating when you go to do something because you're like, oh, I just need the stamp set, or oh, I just need the dies, and then you start making a project and go, I should have bought. So if there is a bundle, I tend to get the bundle. Anyways, yeah, so there's 5 new bundles. Nope, 5, 6, 7 new bundles. These ones are entire suites that came out. There's some good treat holders. These aren't the greatest pictures, but I was putting things on so you'd have an idea because they're white bags. There's only so much you can do on a light background, but the same as these. These are the cutest little sequence hearts. And then there's just some separate stamp sets on their own. There's a couple new papers. The color coach, which is lots of fun. No, it's too far away. It's over there. And this is going to be a great tool. This is going to sell out. It'll come back in stock, but it's going to sell out too because people have been clamoring for this thing. And then there's this very cool embossing folder. I have been just about exclusively working on Christmas stuff and prepping for Christmas classes and making cards for other people and holiday. But once I can clean up the mess and get squared away here, then I'm going to start working on these ones. And I have an idea for a Valentine's using I right now it's going to use this suite, right, with the elegance. This paper is very marbled on one side, which is what you can see in the picture. You can't, I don't know if you can quite see, no, not so much. The back of this paper though is just really cool Valentine patterned paper that's a little more subtle than this. So really the pieces that I'm going to send you, you have the option of big and bold or flip them over and have it more muted but still, you know, bright Valentine colors. And then these hearts are just awesome. So these are gift bags. And so the idea is going to be some cards, I think a banner, a couple treat holders. So it's going to be like a little, here's a kit to make things to give to all the people you love. The otters are just so darn adorable, and there's some really cute, like lovey type stuff in the otter bundle too. So you might end up adding both of them in. I like a little bit of, you know, pool party in with the reds and pinks. So who knows what we might get, but I'm working on that to get it ready so that it can go out as like a to-go kit. And then people can, because people are always really busy around Christmas and right after Christmas. And I find that it's really hard to get people to come to a class after Christmas, but you still need to make Valentines. So I'm going to try to do it in person, but I'm going to have a kit to go as well. So I'm working on that. Anyways, there's that. I had already pre-ordered my stuff, so I have mine, which I will start working on. 2 new kits came out, and they're pretty cool. Let me tell you. So this one is called Layered Landscapes, and you can't tell in the picture. I can tell because I looked at these pieces, but you can see that like this is not just one square piece. There's a bunch of other layers on it. So these are 4 very cool outdoorsy. It's very similar to the artwork from a paper pumpkin that was, I think, last year sometime with it's just great landscapes. Like this is, to me, this is, you know, the South, a little bit of the Badlands, maybe more Arizona-ish, but we got some, and then some mountains, and we got some snowy mountains and some lake country. And so 4 very cool landscapes, but they're not just flat pictures. They're like layers that you put dimensionals in between. So you will get a very 3D landscape. And then the frames themselves are also like, you know, a thick frame with a double matting. So they're going to be very cool. Good decor pieces, nice little project to work on, but also a good gift to give to somebody. I think all our kits make great gifts, and you know, 'tis the season. And then this one, I'm looking forward to this one because you know me, I love the color. So this one, remember, I don't know if maybe you got to be my age, but as a kid, I remember having like books that were about this big, and they were, you know, like a notepad, so you could flip through them. This is, to me, this is like one of the beauties of a notepad. I'm knocking my stuff over. Is you can go like this with a notepad, right? But it was a notepad like this. It wasn't quite this size, but it was similar, and it was like, you know, maybe this thick, and it came with a long, skinny little like palette with, you know, just cheap paint and a little cheap paintbrush. But you know, get a little thing of water, and you'd use your paintbrush, and you would paint these pictures in this booklet. Well, this is a similar concept. So yes, I love to color, but it is a bit nostalgic too. So it comes with this book that has 24 pages on it. So there's 2 each, which is nice if you want to make 2 of a project, but it's also good if you want like a practice one and then the real one. So there's that too. But so it comes with 24, so 12 designs, 2 each in this pad. Then you got your 8 pencil crayons to go with it, and then you got a water painter. And I think I'm going to do a class, and so this is awesome. This is on watercolor paper. So these 3 things together, you can do some amazing artwork with, and it's super easy. Like it's a little bit of practice, but it is quite easy to do. And then these pieces are just a little bit bigger than a card base. So you can either put them on the bigger Memories and More card bases, or you can just trim them slightly and use them as card fronts, put on a sentiment, maybe embellish it a bit, or keep it simple. Like these are beautiful cards. Just maybe just a sentiment that doesn't cover too much of it. and you're done. So I'm going to do a class after Christmas using this kit. So everybody's going to get one of these kits. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm also going to throw in a blender pen because blender pens have a different look to them too. And I think they go great with the watercolor pencil. So this would give you options and some card bases and envelopes. I haven't figured out exactly which ones. There's some great new products coming in the January catalog as far as sentiments go. So I'm thinking those are the sentiments we're going to use. So you'll have this whole little kit. I'm going to walk you through a bunch of the stuff and show you how you can do this. We're going to practice together. And then at the end of the day, make some cards. And then you'll have some extra supplies to go home that you can sort of finish and put cards together as you need and just sort of put the sentiments on as you go. So you'll end up with a lot of stuff. It's not going to be super expensive class. It's going to be more than my usual class just because of how much stuff you're going to get. But in the end, you're going to be able to make minimum like 20 cards out of this thing. Plus, you'll have a whole bunch of extra supplies left to use on other things. But I'm very much looking forward to that. If you just want one of the kits early and you want to start playing, or like I said, this is a great gift. Let me know because I got group orders going in, and that saves you a bit on the shipping and stuff. Our extravaganza was, it's got to be about 3 or 4 weeks ago now. 3 weeks ago now, I guess. And it was a big hit. Seriously, I had the cards in front of me. Just a minute, but I put them in when I was doing the. I think I did. So we sold out our extravaganza, and we had a couple extra kits, and we sold those out too. But people seem to like the cards. Sorry, as I knock everything everywhere. So there we go. So we have extravaganzas. We have PDFs that are also for sale. These PDFs are $10, and they do tell you like if you attended extravaganza, then you would have got like little bags with all your stuff in them that would have shown you. And then there was just the steps on what to do. But this gives you the list of like all of the starting pieces, all the sizes, what they were made out of. It gives you all of the instructions for all 4 of the projects. There's multiples of the project, but there's like 4 different things. So it's the instructions on making this card. And it shows a couple different options of how to do the ribbon and stuff. It's this card. Oops. And then this one, I got to use 2 hands. And then this fun card, which I called It's Flippin' Christmas. Good fun fold. And then it shows you how to make these little treat boxes that look like a tag, but they make them into a treat box, or you can just make like 6 tags. But or that's how it went with extravaganza. Sorry, you could either use it just to make the front, to make the tag, or turn it into a gift box. I can't pick them up now. There we go. So if anybody wants one of those PDFs, $10, let me know and send me a message and we'll get it all hooked up. Okay, I'm gonna have to move a couple things because I keep knocking everything everywhere. Oh, righty. Oh, I did good. Okay, so first up, let's make a TV. We've done this before. Let me see if I can stand up without knocking everything over. You know, I have said this before many a time. I'm going to grab a bunch of these things. I grab it in this hand. That one. Okay, so I have said before, and the logic is the same here. Let me get this one too, because this is one of my favorite ones. You can take anything that you can like cut or die cut or punch out and turn it into a treat holder. Believe me. So this is one of our deckled circles that is folded in half, but similar idea on the little joiner piece. We have a teacup. We have a punched out apple. That was a die. This was the tent. It was a tent die cut. Everyday Adventure. Something, I can't remember what it was called. It's even got a roof on the tent. This is one of my favorite ones. I'll never part with my t-shirt punch because I can make my little nurse and medical people thank yous. And then this is the birdhouse. The birdhouse die that I turned. And then this is the Pets. Perfect Pets. Something on the online exclusives. The Pets and More, it's called. That I just stamped and fussy cut the little pieces. But this is like made with the birdhouse die. And every one of these is pretty much made the same way, right? 2 die cuts or 2 punch pieces with a joining piece in between. And you can make it like a partial piece, a box, or a bridge. I tend to make them all now with the joining bridge piece because that seems to be the most secure. So whatever system you want to make, your treat holder, whatever punch or die you want, you can make it work. And like I said, this one it was more just folded in half and then done the same way. So here's how we started. I was having lots of fun. This TV, which is off screen now, comes from this set called Tune In, which came out with the annual catalog and is not at all a Christmas set. It's a birthday set, really. But I loved it. And I immediately, as soon as I saw this, and as soon as I saw that it came with dies, I knew, look at this, treat holders. And these are a good size treat holder. So what you need is two pieces that are cut out here. I'll do this because it's easier to see. Two pieces that are cut out solid. And then I put on a front piece, like for this one. So the back, like the back piece and the joining piece are early espresso. And then I just had some retired wood paper. There's some current stuff too. I can't remember which one it is, but country wood has some dark stuff in it too, or different colors. I'll show you something else in a totally different color. But I just put a wooden one over top so that I had something to cover over top of the paper. And it gives you just enough of a difference in height that it makes it, to me, it makes it seem more like a real TV. So you need like some solid ones. And then whichever your front piece is, you just put this on and you can put it wherever you want. I like it kind of offset because that's how I remember these big old TVs to be. And so we make one of those. And then there's your die for your accoutrements and then some decorating things. So it came from this set. But when I saw the reindeer paper, I thought I can make it look like, the classic Rudolph movie. So before I made Rudolph, and again, I'm going to totally age myself with these references, but this was my Jacques Cousteau show that was on. Him and John Denver, my absolute all-time favorite musician, and Calypso. And so I thought of Jacques Cousteau. So that was the Jacques Cousteau show. And this one is the stamped images and then just cut out. And the same thing, this was just a different stamp set that I used. But you can make it whatever you want on the TV. This was the Home and Garden Network, right? And this one I made a little more 3D. And so for anyone you can do. And then I will, like I said, when we're done, I'll show you or when I'm done with this, I'll show you the card I made that's more like just retro colors, how I see it. But anyways, I'm going to turn the Home and Garden channel into a treat holder. So I have my second one. So this is basically what I did, right? I wanted my little blue sky behind my flowers. These are all die cuts. This is stamped. This is a piece of designer series paper. However you get there, that's how you get there. So when you and by the way, you can cut two pieces of this out at once, like two pieces of cardstock, because it's a very open die. So when you cut your card, or when you cut cardstock, though, you get kind of this rounded edge, like you get the good side and the bad side. And it's not that this is bad, it's just a bit sharper edge. Well, I like to either side you look at to be the good one. So like I flip mine so that the good sides are both out on it. So this is basically what we're doing is we're taking these two die cuts and we're going to put a little joiner piece in between them. Now I didn't go through all of this with you, but it really is just figure out what you're putting behind this piece and stick it around the back so that it's there. On these ones, I had this paper, like this is two pieces of designer paper technically, and I had them, I put my candies, sandwiched on here. So in the inside of the treat holder, all you're seeing is dark brown cardstock. In this one, when you look inside the treat holder, you're going to see blue. That doesn't bother me. If you didn't want to be able to see that, then you could make like another one of these to cover it with and make a third one for the back. It would also be a very sturdy treat holder, but I don't mind. I don't think people are judging the inside of the treat holder. I think they're looking at the outside and what's in it, not what the inside looks like. Okay, so whichever one you're doing, and like I said, take a thing. This one is not completely square. So you'll notice when I measured this and then the sides here, right? So they're just, it's whatever you want it to be. This one is square, right? The measurements can fit whatever it is you're trying to make fit. What did I do with my ruler? There we go. So to make this little piece, you basically want a piece that goes in the middle. Here, I have to put this over here so I don't lose it. I did find making this one I made first, and I had it fully decorated. And by the time I was done, I don't know if you can see, but my antenna got constantly bent like this as I was trying to put everything together. So I recommend leave those off till you're done and then stick them on, and they won't be nearly as mangled. Here, I'm just trying to make that work. So you're gonna build a bridge. I've already made the bridge, but I'm going to show you how I got to it. We'll use the back piece. So this is what I wanted to do. I'm going to measure, and you want to be as close to the bottom as you can. If you are putting something very heavy in here, I don't know that you'd want like to challenge the weight of these, but in the ones I made for this weekend for the event, there was 2 chocolates. They were pretty heavy chocolates, and a little package of cookies. But there was like I had no problem with the weight of like 2, cardstock feet holding it up. Sometimes, depending what you're doing, you want to be like as close to the bottom as you can. In this case, the feet are what's going to hit. I'm never going to be like in between the feet. So here I was just trying to pick a nice flat spot so I didn't have to work with, it's only a small curve, but so I kind of picked the point that I wanted, and I measured across here, and you want to be just a little bit inside so you don't end up with the bridge sticking out. So this is 3 inches. Okay. So I know here, since I have a glass mat in front of me, let's just make sure I'm grabbing, yep, that says dry erase on it. So this is, and basically a bridge is always going to be the same layout. Okay. So this is 3 inches. So what we're making is a piece of paper that's going to be like this. Okay. I'll show you in a minute what all that means. But this piece in the middle is 3 inches. Okay. Oh, I just realized I wrote off. There we go. I'll just move everything over a little bit. Okay. So then I want to go up the side and figure out how far I want to go. So from where I left off, I could probably go 1 3/4 inches on either side. But here's the thing. I was making 10 of these. So I want to be able to use 1 sheet of paper, and I want to be able to cut it in half. If I do 1 3/4 inches times 2, because there's one on this side, is 3.5, plus my 3 is 6.5 inches, which means my 11-inch sheet of paper is not long enough. Now, if I go back, and in this case, I went to 1 1/4 inches, and I looked at it and I thought, well, 1 1/4 inches goes fairly high up. So on this one, I ended 1 1/4 inches, because 1 1/4 inches, 1 1/4 inches, and 3 adds up to 5.5. 5.5 is exactly half a sheet of paper. So that's how I did mine. If it really needed, like depending what you were putting in it, or I'll show you this one again. This one goes right as high as it can go, right to the bottom of this, because this is skinnier at the bottom. This helps a little bit with like balancing this grass that I put on the front. But because it's such a high thing, you want it as a kind of as solid as possible. You don't want your candies flopping around or hanging out the side, because you're going to end up knocking this over. These are always waiting on placemats, right? Whatever table treats I make, they're sitting on your placemat when you get to class. So I don't want them falling all over the place and things falling out. So sometimes, yes, you might want to go all the way to the top. But for most things, this one was fine to just be partway. And then it works better for my cardstock. Now, it's the same with when you decide what's going in it. My standard for them, unless I know I'm doing something bigger, is 3/4 inch. Sometimes when we made the cauldrons, oh, there we go. I knew they were here somewhere. So I made these cauldrons for our extravaganza, and I wanted to put 2 things of this fruit in it, not just one. And I went to great lengths to find candy that almost matched the color of this, because yes, I take my treat holders very seriously. So in this case, because 2 of them were going to be bulkier, this I think is 1 1/4 inches itself. 1.5 inches. So sometimes you might need, and it works with this cauldron to be thick like that, and it stands up no problem. But in general, my treats are 3/4 inches, and that fits most of the cookies, tea bags, coffee packs, chocolates. Work great for the candies. Like that's a pretty standard size, and then you're not like using too much. So I want a 3/4. Can you see this one? Oh, right on this side. So I want my little 3/4 inch center strip, and then I am totally team tear and tape. So this tear and tape, if you cut 1/4 inch for it, I find that it's kind of tight. So I cut 3/8 of an inch, which is just a little bit bigger. And it also helps that 3/8 and 3/8 equals 3/4. So this whole side together is 1.5 inches. right? And it works out well for me. So this one's 1.5 inches, and this whole side together is 5.5. So when I take a sheet of paper, a sheet of cardstock, I should say, I know that I can cut in half. So here's 5.5 on one side, 5.5. So I'm already making 2 sets. I'm a little far down, but you get the idea. And then I count how many 1.5-inch stripes I can make. Strips, not stripes. So what is that? 1.5 inches. So this is 3, 6, 7.5. I almost drew that even. So I know I can get 5 out of here because these are all 1.5 inches, right? So I'm going to have like a 1-inch strip left over because this is 5 of them is going to add up to 7.5. So 5 on the top, 5 on the bottom. I can get 10 of these bridges out of one sheet of cardstock. If I had made it that little bit taller, I wouldn't be able to do this. I'd only get 5 per piece of cardstock. So I'd use 2 pieces of cardstock and have a bunch left over. So that's how I come up with my measurements. So what I've done then is I've made my, just let me bend this a little bit. There we go. I've made my little bridge piece. Okay. So I'm going to do this, and I need to notch these corners out. So when I fold it up like this, because this is the part that goes like on one side and then it goes on the other side. That's too dark. That's not going to be easy enough to see. This one's easier to see, I think. You see how it's on that? So my bridge piece is like on the inside, and then there's on the inside here. So this is where the tear and tape goes on these flaps that go in. And in order to not have this big bulky corner with all this stuff in the middle, you want to miter it out. But if you make the cuts first, and what I mean by when I do my thing, what I mean by mitering it out is you're going to cut like this, and you're going to cut this piece out, right? And by cutting that piece out, when you fold it, and you'll see when I fold it, I'll show you, it'll fold nice and has like this mitered corner like this. But you don't want to have to try to put your tear and tape. If you're using liquid glue, it doesn't matter one way or the other, right? Cut your little chunks out first, because then you're just going to put your liquid glue. But if you're using tear and tape, which is square edged, you don't want to have to try to make all these different angles. So I found it much easier, and you're not really wasting that much. Tear and tape is the cheapest of the adhesives per inch. Thank you, Diane, for that knowledge. So it's much easier to put your tear and tape on first. Just rubbing it down, make sure it sticks. To put your tear and tape on first, then take your not paper scissors, take your adhesive scissors, and just go, and I do this, I don't measure, I don't honestly don't even slow down. I just notch out. I can see where this joint is. Can I make it so you can see? So I'm not even too worried about where I'm cutting. There we go. I make it where this line, where this score line is, and where the other score lines meet, right? And that's what I'm taking out. So you can see the difference when if I try to fold this, it doesn't even work, right? To try to fold this up with all this, you end up with all this cardstock in the way. But when you fold it up this way, now you've got this nice corner. And this is cut out more than it needs to be, because like I said, I just but it doesn't matter, because you're not putting liquid in this thing, and you don't need these things to be like 100% sealed. So that's what I got to do. But and so I can cut this one I'll cut this one a little smaller, just to show you. Pieces flying everywhere. So now this one's cut a little closer. So when this is squared up, that's actually what a miter in carpentry looks like, right? 45-degree angle, split in the 90. So that's what I want. So this is my little joiner piece that I wanted. I feel like I'm going to rub my hand all over this. And honestly, I think I'm going to do this. Because I'm going to take a picture of this. I don't know if the glass will take a picture well, but if it doesn't, that's what I'm going to post afterwards, instead of having to write it out again. Because once I figured out once, I didn't actually save the stuff. But okay, so then I peel, rascal. I peel all of mine at once. Somebody had the nerve to drive down his road without his permission. Quiet. He knows he's not supposed to bark, but he wants to bark. Okay, so this is my piece, and I do it all at once because I don't know, it works for me. So when I go to put this together, I'm just kind of tucking these in a little bit so they're not like right out. And I start with the bottom piece, and I do tend to turn them sideways because I find it easier to see what I'm doing. Probably should have folded that one a little better. Okay, so I'm holding these two pieces because all I want to do is line this first piece up. So I'm going right about where my ruler was. I'm going from this corner to this corner. If you go crooked, you hang over the edge, so you don't want to do that. There we go. So I'm making my line go where I wanted to. So that's pretty much where my ruler was along the bottom. Then I'm just gonna, see, I haven't stuck these down yet. So even if they stick, it's not a big deal. But I'm gonna run this one up the side. I drop it. And I'm gonna run this one up this side. Now I'm gonna put it down and press it all down because I got them all in place. I don't press them down until I got them where I want it to. So there's my half my box, right? We're doing the same thing on the other side. Does it matter if you do the front first or the back first? Don't think so. You could do it like just like bare pieces, and then once it's together, then you could decorate the front. But I find it easier to do most of the front decorations before I put them together, as long as I can lay it. Let's go put it upside down. As long as I can lay it flat on the table. Like this one has a flower or a gem in the middle of the flower, so it's not laying exactly flat, but I care about this end. But if I had a whole bunch of stuff on the front that was making this knot, it wouldn't work. So you want this about as flat as possible. And like I said, I learned my lesson. Fine die cuts like that, leave them off till the end because they just don't survive well. So now I'm doing the same thing. I'm lining it up corner to corner across the bottom where, there we go, where I want that to go. I'm going to push my sides out to the edge. Sides out to the edge. You got a little bit of play because we haven't totally got this squared away. There we go. And then I'm going to put it down. I can press down on it. And now I have my little box. Now I just need to, not sure what I actually put on the other one, but I'm just going to use this one because it's just a tiny little bit of decoration. They're now glued to my table. I'll stick something in that one later, in that glue spot later. And then I'm just going to put this on the little program. These kind of sat on the top, and they could go in the middle. Because these are such so dark, I like to offset them, right? Because I got all this black here. I put a bit too much, adhesive on there, and I didn't clean it off before I put it on. I think on my other one I used glue dots because that's my second favorite adhesive. Sorry, seal is actually like third or fourth down the list. There we go. So there's my little box. There's my Home and Garden TV. There, like I said, and then you can put in whatever you want. I usually have. Oh, you know what? I usually have samples by me. So just fun fact: if you ever come in my office and you see like my little jar of candies, whatever you do, don't eat them because my little sample box. I know that this espresso candy is fairly new, but my little sample box of candies that are in here, the candy in them, it could be 3 years old, right? I just use it because I keep dropping things tonight. I buy the same thing repeatedly because it's, fan favorites. People love the airplane cookies. I don't even know if these have a best before date on them. Oh, yes, they do. Oh, these must be new. These are actually 2025. You could eat these. But yeah, they're one of the favorites. The little mini Toblerones that I bought because they were adorable. So, but you can put whatever you want in here. And they just kind of stick out the top. I think, yep. If you wanted to, you could put the cookies this way so they don't stick out the top. And you could easily fit in a tea bag or like a skinny coffee or hot chocolate or something in there too. Have fun with it. Sometimes it's thematic to what I'm doing. Depends on what I put in them. It's just whatever you want. The candies work. A whole bunch of loose candies. Now, if you were taking these or or like selling these or something, or like traveling a bunch with them where they're going to fall all over the place, I would recommend putting them in one of our clear envelopes. I just had one of our clear envelopes on my desk. Oh. That's what I was looking for. I don't know what I did with it. I obviously buried it with the other stuff as I was getting things ready. Just a minute. It was just here. Oh, there we go. Right in front of me. So we have our clear envelopes that fit cards, but I have found that a lot of the treat holders I make will also go in one of these. They're not exactly designed like the right size for it, but you can do it like this, right? So then it's keeping this from getting too mangled. And then if the candy does fall out, it's not the end of the world. Oh, of course, it goes right back in. When is that going to happen? But even if it was loose in the bag, at least then it's not all over the place. And it just sort of keeps it a little cleaner and a little more contained. So our little clear envelopes are great for packaging up your stuff. Okay, so those are my treat holders. And seriously, I saw that and I was just like, oh, TVs, I can make TV treat holders. I'm going to stand that one up so you can see that. Oh, maybe that doesn't work. The other thing, though, that I thought the card or the stamp set was made for was to make birthday cards. I wish this said you're a classic, not your classic. But I think if I'm going to use this, I could do a little bit of, masking and stuff and borrow one of the A's from up here that's the same and get it to say you're a classic. Happy birthday. Newsflash. This would be fun to make if you were like announcing something or stay tuned for an important message. I think that'd be great for baby cards. You could put that in the TV and send out stay tuned for important message. And on the inside, just write like a due date or something and send them to people. I think that'd be a fun way to announce a baby. You want to just thank somebody, you're super, right? Like, I think there's lots of fun things you can do with this. So there is some lightning bolts and some, these are very retro, the little stars and these little, the color, the test strips, I think color test, whatever it was that was in them. So I thought, well, okay. The other reason I bought it was I thought it'd be fun to make like cool retro birthday cards. So this is not glued down because I was having trouble with my embellishments. But so this was my cool retro birthday card. Oops, I moved it. And I think nothing's glued down yet because I hadn't decided, but I think part of it is there's a lot of white that I was trying to cover up. And I like it in some regards, and then other times I don't. So I think I either need just a white layer so that this is not so smooth, or I had cut all of these pieces. This is a little big for my liking, but just to give you an idea what all those fun pieces look like. There's that. And then there's these. So there's one big one, and then there's a die that cuts out 3 smaller ones. And then there's a die that cuts out 3 lightning bolts. So I was trying to decide, is that too much? No, I was trying to decide what I wanted to put on here. And then I thought, or should I just put gems? So that's why it's not actually finished, because I ran out of time in my deciding. To make the strips in the middle, all I did was I ran through the die twice, and I figured I'll just make 2 cards because I have leftover pieces now, and I just alternated. But yeah, I to me these are some like fun 60s. I was actually born in the 60s, so I wasn't like partying it up in the 60s. But it just reminds me of that era and the fun bright colors and the living it up type thing. So when I last left off, I was trying to mix and match lightning bolts and stars. And I couldn't decide if it was too much. Oops. So that's where I was. And then I thought, well, maybe I should actually put gems on it. And so I didn't get very far because I was loading it up like crazy. I don't know. I like it. I think the white background is what's getting me though. So I think what I have to do is put, like I said, a layer first, and then less of these little trinkets, and then I'll be happy with it. So I will show you a final picture of that when I finish it. I didn't unpack all my stuff from the weekend yet, believe it or not. And so my adhesive that I was looking for is not on my desk, and I had to go find it before I could put these little stripes on. But anyways, the Tuned In bundle. I think it's lots of fun, whether you're making treat holders or whether you're making cards. Sure, I can make all this stuff fit. Just watch me. If I put this one up here because the plastic's in the way. There you go. And so this front, like the stamped and then cut out front, you could also have that as like your birthday card front. I think it's funny if you had little cowboys, you could have like Western movies, and you could have cars for like the Daytona. You could put little football. I think you could just have a great deal of fun with all of the things in this bundle. So that's it for me tonight, folks. I am going to wrap it up a little bit early because I have shown you a couple different things, and like I said, curiosity is getting to me, so got to go get some updates. I will take a picture of this and see if I can get it all to not be all blurry and reflective. And I will post this a little bit later, and I will finish my card and give you a final version of it as well. If you guys are interested in any of the classes that are coming up, please let me know right away, because I'm at the point of, go forward or cancel, depending on numbers, because I know everybody starts to get busy now. And unless you have like registered and paid and committed, and it's dicey on everybody showing up. So I'm busy too. Want to make sure that we're all using our time to the best of our advantages. So, and then yeah, again, the 2 new kits that are out and some of the online exclusives. If you need help with any of that stuff, or you want to add stuff to my next group order, just let me know, and that will save you a little bit on shipping, and we just pick it up local. So have a great night, everyone. Happy Tuesday, and we will talk to you later in the week. Thanks. Bye.